Release the Kraken!
Welcome back, fellow game designers. In our last tutorial, went ahead and made Luigi's shoe and got that all nice looking. Hey! And today we're going to focus on Luigi's arm. So without wasting any time, first thing we're going to do is save our project. We are in Luigi 4. Let's go ahead and save our scene. And then, of course, save scene as. I'm going to change this to Luigi 5. Once again, it's always good to save in iterations. That way, if you break something, you can always go back. Okay, so here we go. I've got Luigi. I'm going to jump into the front view. And I will add in a cylinder. Let's go and move that up to where the arm is. I'm using a cylinder because the cylinder is already mostly round, so that's going to make it a little bit easier for us. Let's open up our channel box here. And then go to our poly cylinder. Now before I start modifying the radius and such, I do need to rotate this so it points down the length of the arm. You can see that the cylinder, if I zoom in here, is currently pointing vertically. We want it to go this way. So the easiest way to do that is to rotate it on its axis. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and go to rotate Z. I'm going to do 90. There we go. And now I will go down to my poly cylinder settings here. I'll grab the radius option, middle mouse click in the canvas, and then drag to get the width of the arm here. Looks pretty good. And then I'll do the same thing for the height. I'll grab the word, and I'll go ahead and just drag for the height. Pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my perspective view. Let me just go ahead and just move this for just a second. I'll move it out of the way. And I'll make a spot for the arm to actually rest. So if I go to my front view here, and I'll move this, you can see that the arm will actually stop about here, and then the shoulder kind of comes out and attaches to the arm. So I'm going to pull the shoulder out from the body. So I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to use this area as the shoulder area. So I'm going to grab here, and these guys as well. That looks pretty good. Now this is going to need to be flattened off a little bit. So I'm going to hit the R key, and then I'm going to scale perpendicular to flatten this off. That's going to make life a little bit easier for connecting this shoulder. And then I'm going to hit the extrude button, and then I'll hit W, and then I will pull out from the body, and you can see that gives us this shoulderish section. I'm going to go into the attributes here, and let's adjust so we can see the transparency. Kind of holding on the arrow there for quite a bit just because of all the changes. To make it a bit quicker, let's go into object mode here. There we go. And then I will just adjust the transparency. And let's make this shoulder fit on the arm, so let's go into vertex mode. That looks good there. And these need to come up about here. And I'm going to go into perspective. And I will very carefully pull these out as well. So I'll go back to object mode. Let's turn the transparency down. And since we flattened this area out, we did mess up the rounding that we had here. So I'm just going to put that back in. Just visually pulling these out to round off this space. And I'll take a look at my reference. Okay, that's better. Okay. And then on the side view, let me just come up here. And from here, I'm just going to round this area so it's a little bit nicer to connect to. So these, I'm going to pull down, kind of make this connection point a bit more round. Like that. Then I'll grab these points, kind of pull them in. Good enough. Let's go to perspective. So we have sort of this shape. Let's go into face mode. And one thing I'm going to do is just to taper this in. I'm going to use my scale, so R. And I'll grab middle scale and just kind of scale in. That looks a little bit better. Okay, and then I'll press the delete key. Oh, bam. And now I have a hole. Okay, so now we need to know how many points we have to connect our arm to our shoulder. So right here, let's go ahead and count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like 12 points. So then on my arm here, I'm going to adjust that to 12 points. So subdivisions, we'll make that 12. Look at that. And then I'm going to move this so that it fits the arm. So I'll go back up to my Z translate, set that to 0. Awesome. Let's go ahead and adjust this in our view here to make sure that this lines up pretty well. So go ahead and just move it. Let's take our transparency up some. Let's go ahead and just make sure that this fits. Let's go to vertex mode. I'm going to take these back to where the shoulder is going to start. I'll take these ones in the front. I'll move those back to where the glove is going to start. And then I do want to cut where the elbow is going to be because our arm's not going to be able to bend if there's no elbow. So I'm going to go up to our multi-cut tool, hold down the control key, find a middle point right about there. Looks pretty good. Now Luigi's arm does not taper from shoulder to wrist, so we're not going to do that here. It's going to be pretty consistent all the way through. So I think we're good. Let's jump back into our perspective view. And let's dial down our transparency again. So object mode, bring the transparency down. Okay, let's go ahead and cut off the faces of our arm. So face mode. I'm going to hold down the tab key and then click and drag. And then I will delete those. We can do the same thing for the front of the arm, just because this is where the wrist is going to go. So tab, click and drag, and then delete. So now we have an open tube. And then just like we did with our leg and our foot, we're going to cut an extra ring in here to make it easier for the transition. So multi-cut, hold down control, drop in a ring. Very good. And then you have to decide whether or not you're going to move from the arm to the shoulder or from the shoulder to the arm. Either one doesn't really matter. Whichever shape you think is going to be stronger. So I'm going to go into object mode here, grab both the body and the arm. And then I'm going to hit the combine tool. And then I will grab the target weld tool. And I will start sewing. And as I'm looking, I can see it's a little off center. I'm going to hit Q and then go to vertex mode. Double click the entire model there. And I'm just going to visually move everything. So grab the arrow and move that back. Looks good there. And then I'll grab the target weld tool again. And I think I'm going to go from the shoulder to the arm this time. So I'll go from the bottom and this point to here. Like so. And just be careful where your points are going, just because it's easy to miscalculate. If you ever make a mistake, you can always hit Control-Z. And then down. This one to here. That. There we go. So we have our shoulder connected to our arm there. Check that side. Looks good. Hit Q to turn my tool off. And I'm going to leave this area flat for later when we do the neck. So I'll just leave that there. I do want to create an edge loop going through this part, just so there's more flexible area. So I'll go ahead and grab my multi-cut tool. And then I'll hold down Q. Let's add a loop right about there. And then that way, when the arm starts to do the flexing on the shoulder, we'll have plenty of material to bend right around here. And this connection looks good. We can always add extra cuts in the elbow, but we'll worry about that later. I think that'll call it for this video. In the next one, we will create Luigi's hand, and then we'll attach that. So save your work, and I shall see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Also, we are at 1,500 subscribers. Woo! That is awesome possum. Rocket Flip is out if you have not taken a look at my latest devlog. It is in open beta testing, so if you want to grab a copy and test it out, see how it plays, leave some feedback, it really helps me out. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you next time.